Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over an upcoming warm pattern for parts of the northern and eastern United States and a chilly pattern for parts of the Rockies and the south central part of the country. We're going to be going over how warm those temperatures will be. We're going to be looking at your actual temperatures, your temperature anomalies, and then also what the Climate Prediction Center is showing with this upcoming warm/cold wave, which is going to be moving throughout much of the United States. So here's what the current National Weather Service page looks like. You can tell there really isn't a lot going on. Today we had, as you can see on the bottom left part of your screen, we had no snowfall reports yesterday, kind of an indication of how just kind of quiet it was yesterday in terms of weather. We really didn't have a lot to talk about. We have air quality alerts in effect for northern Colorado, some winter weather advisories, and some of the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, as well as some frost advisories in northwestern California, and some wind advisories in effect for east central parts of California as well. All of these kind of tan colors that you see scattered throughout parts of the United States are just special weather statements. If you want to read what those are about, just go to your local National Weather Service page, and they'll have a kind of a description of what they're talking about in that special weather statement. Yesterday, the high temperature in Titusville, Florida, was 91 degrees. So was it was also 91 degrees in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and in Melbourne, Florida. They also got to 91 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was the high temperature for the entire continental United States. And 4 miles southeast of Gold, Colorado, they got to -2 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. That was the national low temperature for the United States. The highest precipitation or rainfall report yesterday was in Huntsville, Alabama, where they got 5.79 inches of rainfall. And again, yesterday we did not have any snowfall reports for the entire continental United States. So here's what the temperature anomaly map looks like from the European model, and we're going to be timing this out over the next about 7 to 8 days, and just giving you a general idea of what you should be expecting. So we're going to fast forward to Sunday morning, and this is what your temperature anomalies are going to look like. So in the blues, that's what we're dealing with, below normal temperatures, as well as in the greens, and you might even see a few purples pop up. That's what we're dealing with, some colder than normal temperatures, and then in the red, the orange, the yellow, as well as kind of that brown and white color there. That's where we're dealing with above normal temperatures, and that's generally how you can read this map. Anywhere that's in kind of the orange or red colors, that's where we're dealing above normal, and below normal temperatures in the blues or the greens. So this would be for Sunday. Here's by Monday. We're seeing this area of high pressure, which is going to be situated over parts of southeastern Canada. They're going to be sitting right over here, and that's just going to be spinning away over parts of the eastern United States. We're starting to see our next system come out of parts of the southern United States. That's going to be shooting up into parts of the Midwest, and in front of that we're going to be dealing with a bunch of warm air into the eastern United States because of that storm. So that storm, which is going to be all the way up through parts of Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and that general area, is actually going to be having effects all the way as far east and south as areas like Florida, Georgia, and all the way up the east coast. So even though this system maybe won't be bringing rain or snow to your area, it will still have a big effect, especially on temperatures, bringing those very, very warm temperatures out ahead of that storm. So this would be by Tuesday, and we're starting to see this low pressure start to move up. So here's where it is by this point. We're dealing with an overbearing warm front right over here. We have a cold front on the backside, somewhat like this. So that's the general shape of your system. You can see we have very warm temperatures up through parts of the Great Lakes, and then that system is going to continue to spin away. By this point, the actual center is in northern Illinois, although we're actually dealing with snow and rain back throughout this area right there. And then you can see we have a lot of warm air out ahead of this into parts of the Northeast and into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes area. That's where we're dealing with the very, very warm temperatures. This would be by Thursday. That low pressure is now starting to move out, so now it's right here by this point. But you can see that out ahead of this, we're still 10 to 15, even 20 degrees above normal in some of these areas. You do see the cold setting in for parts of the south central part of the country, in areas like Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, and some of those surrounding areas. That's where we're dealing with the colder temperatures as we get into Thursday and then into Friday as well. That heads all further to the east. This is probably going to be the warmest day for parts of the Northeast. You can see 25 degrees degrees above normal in some of those areas. So you're going to have temperatures in the 70s and 60s for these areas. So very, very warm. Even a few 80s into parts of the Northeast aren't out of the question, especially when you're 20 or 25 degrees above normal. Here's what your actual temperatures look like. So let's play this through for you guys, just to give you an idea of what all the colors mean. If you're in that light blue, which would be kind of what you see back through here, you're in the 50s. If you're in the yellow shade, which you see for much of the country on this frame, you're in the 60s. If you're in the orange, then that's where you're basically in the 70s. And then once you get into kind of that darker red shade right here, that's where you're getting into the 80s, and that's basically how you can read this map. You can see the colder temperatures back through parts of the Rockies and the mountainous west, and then you can see the warmer temperatures out east. So this would be by Monday, March 22nd of next week. We're dealing with very warm temperatures all the way up through parts anywhere basically east of the Mississippi River is dealing with warm temperatures, and we're dealing with 60s, 70s even for some of those areas as you get further to the south, or actually further to the north. And then if we look at Tuesday here, we're dealing with somewhat of a moderation of that warm air. Not as warm. You're seeing that real spin from this system. So by this point, your storm system's right here. It's pulling in cold air on the northwest side, warm air on the east and south side of the storm. And you can really see that pop up well on the temperature map. And then especially by Wednesday, we're starting to deal with very warm temperatures back through parts of the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, into parts basically anywhere from I would say the Mississippi River eastward is dealing with temperatures in the 70s for the most part, except for areas in the Northeast. You guys are going to still be right around 50 degrees on Wednesday due to an onshore wind flow that's going to really cool down those temperatures. But you get inland, and that's where you're dealing with temperatures that are going to be pleasantly in the mid 70s and even a few upper 70s in some of these areas. And then by Thursday, that's when we're starting to get warm for parts of the Northeast, not the entire Northeast. You're still dealing with an onshore flow into parts of southern New England, so that should cool you down. But you can see that areas that get inland, for example, areas like Buffalo, New York, those areas are going to be in the 70s, while you go further south, for example, New York City, and you guys are going to be in the 50s. So it's going to be definitely dependent on the direction of the wind. If you get that onshore wind off the very cold Atlantic Ocean, then you're of course going to be chillier than those areas inland. If that wind direction is even a little bit further out of the southwest, then you can really start to warm up a lot more. Here to be by Friday, and we're dealing with still very warm temperatures, especially hugging the northeast coast by this point, and you're also dealing with very warm temperatures as you get back through parts of the southeast and into the south central part of the country, and this would be by Friday. Let's start looking at the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and this is showing you the probability that you'll see either above or below normal temperatures. You can see that anywhere in the oranges and the reds, that's where we're dealing with the probability of above normal temperatures. You can even see in that kind of darkest red shade, that's where we're at 80 to 90% chance of being above normal between the 24th, which would be Wednesday, through Sunday, which would be the 28th. We're dealing with a high probability that you'll be below normal through parts of the Rockies, especially the central and southern Rockies, and then into parts of the Great Plains as well. If we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, it actually looks fairly similar. It's just kind of moderated a little bit, and it all shifted a little bit further to the east. So you can see the entire east coast, generally the eastern third of the country is above normal. The central part of the country is where you're going to be dealing with the colder than normal temperatures and the warmer than normal temperatures off for parts of California, Nevada, Arizona, and a little bit of Oregon as well. Here's what the 3 to 4 week outlook looks like. So this is from March 27th until April 9th, and you can see the entire country is under that chance that you're going to be above normal. This is your 70% chance line of being above normal, and you can see that for much of the central part of the country. So everything kind of shifts back westward a little bit in terms of where that warm air is going to set up. Here would be your 60% chance line, so anywhere within these two lines right here, you have a chance of being with 60% chance of being above normal within this time frame. So overall, it looks like in a longer term, it will be below normal. If we look at your 1 month probability, this would be for April, the entire month of April averaged out. Here's what they're expecting, and they're expecting temperatures that are going to be solidly warm over parts of the central area of the country, a little bit colder in parts of the northwest, but overall, if you don't live out along the immediate west coast, it looks like you're going to be above normal, at least for the month of April. And if we actually continue this from April, for April, May, and June, averaged out over those 3 months, still looking warm for many of these areas, especially for parts of the southwest, and then all the way back through parts of the southeast there, and then really centering over parts of Texas and the Four Corners area as well. So that's where we're expecting, especially for April, May, and June, to be above normal. So it looks like we're not going to see any end really of significance to this warm period of air. It looks like we're going to have a fairly pleasant spring in terms of temperatures. We're not going to be dealing with any really cold temperatures. You might see a couple days here and there that are below normal, but it looks like overall we're going to be dealing with above normal temperatures for many of these areas. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.